Hello everyone, I'm back with another quick film review for you, and today I'm going to be taking a look at another sequel, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, directed by Gil Kenan and written by Gil Kenan and Jason Reitman, and there's also a producer credit for the late great Ivan Reitman, who directed the original Ghostbusters films, and of course he's the father of Jason Reitman, who directed Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, Afterlife was a film that was kind of like a reunion special. It was kind of like the Force Awakens of Ghostbusters movies, and it was just nice to see people back together again, although it did introduce Paul Rudd's character and the Spangler family, and those characters were pretty likable, Podcast, like all those characters in Oklahoma in the last film, they were likable. This movie introduces new characters that aren't so likable. There's not a lot of heart here. There's not a lot of weight going on. It just doesn't seem like the threat is that big in this new film, Frozen Empire. And while we do get some, other actors that we haven't seen in a while, certain characters that we haven't seen in a while as well. I mean, you can tell from the trailer we do get Mayor Peck, Dickless from the original Ghostbusters, as well as Slimer returning too, and a few more surprises. I mean, I won't spoil anything here. There's no spoilers in this review, and it's a good way to keep it fairly short as well, I find. So, just talking about the plot, though, I will mention that, yes, the plot is about this ice demon, this winter demon, really, with his long horns, and he's been trapped inside this magical orb for a long, long time. It's a brass orb that was owned by the grandmother of this character played by Kumail Nanjiani, and he's kind of goofy. He's kind of ignorant, right, to everything. So he's kind of the non-believer sort of thing, and just out to make some money and stuff. But but Dan Aykroyd, of course, Ray Stantz, owns a shop, and this occult, collectible shop that Camille goes to and tries to sell the orb to him. And as soon as Dan takes a Ray, takes a PKE meter scan of the thing, it goes crazy and starts causing havoc. So that's mainly the plot point here, is that this orb has this demon power inside of it, and it's threatening to be released. So that's the real threat of the plot line there. We do catch up with Phoebe and Trevor and Paul Rudd's character, Gary, as well as the mom, Callie, and they're driving around in Ecto 1, and they're looking to bust a ghost. They're after this sewer dragon ghost thing. And at the end of that, after they capture the ghost, they get accosted by the mayor, Mayor Peck, Mayor Dickless. And he says, you know what, Phoebe's too young. She's too young to be a Ghostbuster. And he's kind of right. If they have if they're going around with a nuclear accelerator on their back, there should maybe be an age limit, a minimum, for that. But of course, she's smarter than the rest of them. She's so good at everything, isn't she? Isn't Phoebe just brilliant? Well, I guess she's kind of has to be. It's not that believable, but at the same time, she is Egon's, descendant here. So it's like, okay, maybe she is that smart. I guess I can buy that part of it. But the part that I didn't like was that there were some new characters that they introduced that I felt were just kind of forced and silly and really, really had no weight to them. There was no substance to a lot of these new characters, and that especially goes for this villain. This demon from a frozen hell. Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock, as Bill Murray says. Bill Murray shows up. He has some lines that are just okay. They're not that funny. This movie's really not that funny, unfortunately. My favorite part of the film was actually Dan Aykroyd, with his youthful exuberance and everything, and how he's educating everybody and stuff on that, and I thought he was great, as usual, because he's always got such great energy in these movies. And then Winston showing up is great, although he's this, rich guy who's kind of barely in there. He's bankrolling the Ghostbusters. And, and Janine as well. Janine finally gets to put on the uniform and be a Ghostbuster in live action, and that's wonderful. Great to see Annie Potts back as well. And it's nice to see Slimer, I guess. But there's just a whole bunch of things that I didn't care for. The stupid little, marshmallow men, the little Stay Puft marshmallow men. I thought those Stay Puft marshmallow men were just pandering to kids. Literally, there's nothing about those little marshmallow men that appeals to adults as far as I'm concerned. You just watch them and go, yep, Yep, they're doing their thing. Yeah, oh, they're killing themselves. It's hilarious. I don't care. Like, I really don't like those little characters. And again, I think that's just to keep kids' attention, in case Phoebe, and her storyline doesn't do it, in case the action doesn't keep kids' attention, we've got these little marshmallow men in the movie again, and it's just redundant from the last film because they were in Afterlife as well. So I think a lot of things that happen in this movie, there's a lot of references, like the library ghost. There's a lot of references going back to earlier Ghostbusters movies, and I just thought, yeah, we don't really need to do that so much. I mean, they think that's fan service, but the real fan service is just seeing Ray again and seeing Winston and Janine and Venkman, and even seeing Peck again. Like, that's real fan service to the original Ghostbusters fans, people that saw the movie when they were 6 years old, like me, back in '84. Yeah, and the library ghost scared the hell out of me. But this movie, it has no scares. It has no real scares that I would even consider scary for kids. So I look at this movie and I go, it's a couple of big bangs, here and there that might make you jump, but there's no real scares in the film, and that is unfortunate. Again, even if it is just scary for children, they should have made it a little scarier for kids. I think they made it a little too tame, with too many cute characters. Again, so while I like what they did with the new film in terms of the old characters, I didn't like the new characters so much, and I didn't like the villain, and that's a big no-no when you don't get the villain to be that interesting. I mean, I think even Vigo in the painting in Ghostbusters 2 was more interesting than this guy. So this ice demon. So anyway, yeah, overall, I mean, it's okay as a movie. It's a watchable movie. It's not something where you go, oh my god, this is so bad. But it's also not great either. As much as I like Paul Rudd and he's such a likable guy, and he always plays these great characters, his jokes aren't very funny. The writing here isn't as good as it could be, I thought. So I am gonna give Ghostbusters Frozen Empire a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not good either, I would say. It's not great, certainly. There is a mid-credit scene, so if you want to stick around for that, heads up, there is a mid-credit scene. But that's all I'm going to say about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I liked Afterlife a bit better, but this one, it may please hardcore Ghostbusters fans. All right, guys, that's all for me. This is Neil, and until next time, peace.